What happened to your mind when you think like suicide?
I mean, I saw nowhere else to go. It's like if you corner a cat, like that's it. I couldn't, at the moment, I couldn't see nothing else. I was
Wow.
like, there's no other option right now but death. Started seeming like a good idea. I was like, this might be a good idea. Like, it's sad to say that we we would go there, but I was in that place. Like that I started thinking this could be a good idea. Like just not being here because I couldn't quiet, like what she was saying. I couldn't. Nothing was filling in that emptiness. Nothing was making sense. So I started thinking crazy thoughts. And a bad chain of events ended me up in getting Baker acted, and that's where this was going to be hard to say, but that's where I did my first prayer. I got on my knees in the place. I did not know what I was doing, but again, just like the thought of suicide, the only other thought that I had, it was either the darkness or the light. There was no, there's nothing in the middle at that moment. So it was all right. I thought about killing myself, and couldn't go through with that. My next, now I'm in a place where they're not going to let me do that either. So my next option was get on my knees next to this bed and say, God, if you're real, I need you right now. And that was the beginning of the life that I'm living now. You know,
Wow.
Wow.
You
yeah.
came from a Christian family?
I did not. I was actually raised Catholic. I was raised Catholic, and my wife's parents are Christian, and she was a Christian, but I pulled her away from the church. Well, I mean, we both went away from the church. Living everything that I'm telling you, just partying and supposed having fun. Which I mean, I guess it could be fun. I just had the problem, like I didn't know how to stop. And I'm sure there's people that can go out, have a drink, and come home and not drink for another 6 months. That wasn't me.
What happened to your life after you prayed and then now you have your own shop, a
Yeah,
successful barber
yeah.
shop?
So that, again, it's sorry, they're long stories, but like I had that. This is the miracle, man. Like a lot of people don't know this, but I did that prayer. The very next day, they were giving me medication at the place. I tried to swallow the medication and it wouldn't go down. I could not swallow the pills. I had never not been able to swallow a pill before that. Tried to swallow the pill. I left it on my tongue. I spit it out in the garbage when I went to my room. Next day, same thing. They gave me the medication. Tried to swallow it. It just wouldn't pass my throat for nothing. I didn't know that then, but I know today that was God. He's like, you're not taking this medication. I spit it out. Psychologist saw me. He's like, you look like you're doing so good. I was talking completely different. I was a different person from 2 days ago. He's like, what happened? So I started talking to him and telling him what I had done, and like he knew something had happened. I mean, these guys, not only that they're working there, but I come to find out that they are also have gone through a lot of the guys that are working these places. They're also they've also gone through some of the same stuff that I've gone through. So they're there to help guys like me. And he let me out of there and he goes, just make me two promises. You're gonna go to a recovery center after this, and you're gonna join AA. And I go, deal, done deal. Just get me out of here. And I kept my side of the promise, and I left there, and that's when I start. Something had happened before that, and my wife had called one of these AA rooms, and we thought we needed insurance to be a part of it and all that. So she was talking to a guy. The guy came to the barbershop. I was crossing the street, gonna go get a drink across the street, and the guy came up to me and he's like, "You have beer?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I didn't know this guy. And he's like, I mean, obviously, if you're an alcoholic or drug addict, you can see another one and be like, he's just, I know that he's the guy. And he came up to me crossing the street and he goes, "There's a place for you. I know how you feel. Here's my number. Whenever you're ready, give me a call." That's all he said.
Wow.
When I got out of that place, the first room that I went to, I walked in, the first AA room that I walked into, I walked through the door. He's working the coffee bar.
Wow.
And that's when I was like, God, you know, I that's it. You know, like I was broken. I broke down, and the journey started from there. I'll make this story short so we can get back to the barbershop stuff. But my life in recovery started, and you know, I celebrated a year and another, and then the onion went unfolding, and God. I came out of that place. I went back to the barbershop that I originally sold, and the environment just I didn't feel it inside me, and not that they weren't doing any. I couldn't be there. You know, I needed some space. I left the place. I went to work in a little old barbershop around the neighborhood, and you know, just kind of got myself together there. And the guy that I had sold it to decided that he wanted to move the shop that I had sold him. And again, you know, God has plans, man, and he moved to a new location, beautiful location, successful business owner as well, just like me, and Chopper's Barbershop. Those guys are amazing as well. And he moved the shop and told me, Javi, if you want, I'll sell you back the shop. And he sold it to me at a very reasonable price.
No
like,
way.
Very, very reasonable
You
price.
bought your old shop.
I bought
back.
my old shop back.
Wow.
And that's how
Whoa.
God works.
Oh my God.
I think God was preparing
I
you
can't
for
believe.
all you got today.
Everything.
It
And
was
then-
supposed to be yours.
Yeah, it was always. And I was,
Wow.
you know, I worked, I mean, I built that shop from,
Wow.
I'm telling you, I had no barbers by myself. They're just grinding, you know, one client at a time there and teaching guys. And, you know, I built that little shop from nothing, you know, and God put me right back there with nothing again, you know, with no barbers again, like if it was day one by myself. Me and my wife sat there. It was crazy.